Hi friends, let us start a new topic, environmental impact assessment. Now this is very important topic. You can expect one question from this topic. Now there is a connecting topic in ethics also, so you have to focus more on this. Now, let us start with the basic definitions and then we will go deep down. Now what is EIA, environmental impact assessment? Now, it is a formal process used to predict policy project prior to the decision to move forward with the post action. Now, this is the exact definition. Now, EIA is a management tool for ensuring optimal use of natural resources for sustainable development. Now see here, each and every line is important. Now I will crux down all the points, right? Now EIA is a formal process it is a formal process used to predict policy and project, or sometimes we call it as programs, right? Now these are to be predicted prior to the decision to move forward with the post action, right? This is the process that has to be done before taking a decision that you have to start the post action. Now EIA is an important management tool for ensuring optimal usage of natural resources. Optimal usage of natural resources for sustainable development, right? Now these definitions are very important, right? So I'll write down all the points, right, because this is very important. Now see here, now this EIA is nothing but a information gathering exercise carried out by the developers and other bodies. Now this gathering exercise enables the government or the organizations to understand the environmental effects and the developments that they have to decide whether they have to go ahead or not. Now, this is the summary, right? Now see here, I'll crux down this point also. Now EIA is an information gathering exercise information gathering exercise. So don't miss these points, right? About what? Now this information gathering exercise is taken up by the developer and other bodies. Now upon taking this all points, this planning authorities or the organizations will understand the environmental effects and they will decide whether to start the project or end there, right? Now this is the prime importance of environmental impact assessment, right? Now this information gathering exercise is a systematic process, right, now which leads to your final document, which is called environmental statement. I'll write down this environmental statement. I'm going little bit slow because every point is important. Environmental statement, right? Now See here, this environmental statement shows you the direct and indirect effects on number of factors, including your biotic and abiotic factors, right? Now this environmental statement points out, shows you all the effects on biotic and abiotic factors. I mean, you know that about biotic and abiotic factors. Biotic means plants, animals and organisms, right? And abiotic factors means your climate, soil, land, all the things comes under abiotic factors, right? Focus this is the question that was asked in your previous engineering service examination. What is environmental statement? Right now, this environmental impact assessment process, first it was originated in United States of America. Due to huge public pressure, the government have started an act called National Environmental Policy Act. National Environmental Policy Act in the year 1970 by the US government. Right? This was first, EIA was first originated in USA. Now, this role of environmental impact assessment, EIA, was full-fledgedly focused and exposed in Earth Summit that happened in Rio de Janeiro. Now, this EIA was full-fledgedly focused and exposed in Earth Summit held in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil in 1992. Right? Now, what this Rio Declaration stated that, according to Rio Declaration, EIA shall be taken as a national instrument for the projects which might adversely impact the environment. Right? Now, see here, I'll write down this point also. According to Rio Declaration, EIA, Environmental Impact Assessment, shall be taken as a national instrument right? Now, for the projects which adversely impact the environment, right? Which adversely impact your environment. Adversely impact your environment. Now, see here, in India, when this EIA was started, in India it was started in 1976, 77. 1976 and 77, it was started in the Planning Commission. Right. Now it was changed to Niti Aayog. Right. Now this Planning Commission has directed Department of Science and Technology to examine all the river valley projects from the environmental angle. They have asked to take an environmental impact assessment for all the river valley projects, how the environment is adversely affecting. Right. This is very important. Focus on this. Now, here, after this river valley projects, this EIA was extended to cover all the projects which was in the interest of public. Right? Now, see here, EIA in India have enlisted some basic factors. Now, what are those factors? Environmental impact assessment addressed some basic factors. Now the first factor is meteorology and air quality. It's climatic conditions, meteorology, climatic conditions and air quality. This is the one basic factor. Now you have to know all the factors, right? Now second one is water quality, means hydrology. You have to look upon your hydrology aspect. Now you have to look upon the site and the surroundings regarding the site. Now you have to look upon the occupational safety and health. Now there is an certification for this, OHSAS, occupational health safety and hazards. Occupational safety and health. Now once we are strong on the basics, we'll go fast. Okay, now see here how you treat your effluents. Effluent treatments is also a basic factor that you have to consider on EIA. Right, now see here how you handle the materials. One more factor, material handling. Now these are the factors that EIA considers. Right, now upon doing of all this, what is the main objective of EIA? This is nothing but to have sustained and minimal environmental degradation. Now this is the main objective of this EIA. Now the Union Ministry for Forest and Climate Change has been assigned for the responsibility to look after this EIA. Right? Ministry of Forest, Environment and Climate Change. Right? Already we have discussed in detail regarding this in pollution. Right? Now all the projects and the organizations are required to prepare an EIA report. Now they have to follow all these basic factors, right? Now and see here what more factors these companies have to consider. They have to, apart from these air pollutants, water quality, sites and surroundings, right? And also they have to look about the biodiversity that we have discussed it. Now by considering all these factors, now environmental impact assessment and development projects has far been categorized into two categories, category A and category E. Now upon following all these things, EIA under Ministry of Environment have divided the projects into two categories. One is category A and the other one is category B. Now what is category A? Now see here all the activities that have been included in category A in the schedule, including expansion and modernization of existing projects or activities change in mix, shall require prior environmental clearance from the central government on recommendations of an expert appraisal committee to be constituted by central government for the purpose of giving this EIA. Now see here, I'll write down this point, right? Now they have to take prior environmental clearance. I'll write down this point. Prior environmental clearance. Right, now this has to be taken from central government. I will write down the full point, right, because you have to understand this. On recommendations from expert appraisal committee. Expert appraisal committee. So you might get bored, but see here, every year there will be a question on this, purely dry things, right? Now you have to take this for for a category A organization. Now see here, for not only newly developed organizations or projects, this category A will be for modernization of existing projects, and also the change in product mix of the organizations you have to take for this, right? Now how this category A and category B are divided. Now you have seen the clearances. Now this category A and category B are divided based on the extent of potential impacts on human health, potential impacts on human health, natural and man-made resources, right? Human health and resources, natural and man-made, both. Natural and man-made. Now by this they are divided upon the impact on these factors. Now how category B is done? Now see here, all the activities that have been included in category B in the schedule, including the expansion and modernization of the projects or change in product mix, but excluding those which fulfill the general conditions stipulated in the schedule, will require prior environmental clearance from State Environment Impact Assessment Authority, right? Now see here, which projects are enrolled in this category B. As I said, now I'll write down the point, right? Now all the projects except those fulfilling general conditions stipulated in schedule, right? Means EIA schedule under Government of Forest, Environment and Climate Change Ministry, right? Now except those fulfilling general conditions under the schedule, now these companies require environmental clearance. From State Environment Impact Assessment Authority, SEIAA, right? Now see here, upon the recommendations based on this SEIAA, right? Now they will give a notification to the companies, right? Upon this recommendations of SEIAA, now it will give a notifications to the companies. Now see here, in the absence of this authority, category B, now if there is no presence of this SEIAA, category B is considered as category A. In the absence of, right? In the absence of this. Now, this is the difference between category A and category B. Now let us see the next one, EIA regulations. Now this is very important, focus on this. All these are dry things you have to remember. So before going to the examination, once if you go through this video very well, then you can answer each and every question very well. See here, already according to the regulations given in the schedules of EIA report. Now projects are divided into two categories, category A and category B. Now see here, and again there will be another two types, which is nothing but schedule 1 and schedule 2. Now what is the schedule 1 and schedule 2 projects? Now see here, for schedule 1 projects, EIA must always be carried out. You have to do EIA, environmental impact assessment. For schedule 2, your EIA must be carried out only when there is a significant impact on the environment. Only when there is significant impact on environment, or you can write it as nature, by its size, nature, or all the things, right? Now see here, this has to be done, and this has to be done only when the impact on the environment is substantially high, right? Now which comes under schedule 1? Your major power plants, cement industries, road schemes, right? Road schemes, cement, major power plants, all comes under schedule 1. And now see here, your quarries, right? Your golf courses, real estate projects, rubber production, brewing, all comes under schedule 2, right? There are many coke ovens, foundries, right? Now storages of your fossil fuels, all these comes under schedule 2. Now the next very important one is steps in environmental environmental impact assessment. Now let us discuss this. Steps in EIA process. Now how will you do this EIA process? Now, this is very important. Now I will explain this in a schematic diagram, so that's why you can have a clarity on this, right? Now see here, this is a systematic process. Already I have discussed the definition itself. It examines the environmental consequences and the actions in advance. What are the effects that will happen in the near future, right? Now by taking this environmental impactment process, then you can prevent some course of actions, and you can save the nature, right? You can be more proactive, right? Now the first step is, what is the first step? Project screening. I'll write down this clearly. Project screening. Now why you will do project screening? Now this project screening says that, is EIA necessary? Is EIA needed? Now, this is the first step. Next one, the next step is scoping. Now what is this scoping, right? See here, this scoping will identify which impacts and which issues to consider, right? What are the significant environmental issues that you have to consider in this process? Now see here, I'll write down the crux point here. Impacts or issues to consider has to be done in scoping, right? Now scoping, after scoping, the next step is consideration of alternatives. Now what is this consideration of alternatives? Now this helps you to the organization to consider other feasible approaches, right? Now see here, if the location is not very satisfyingly happy and you might not get the approval, then automatically you will change, you will look upon for the other locations. Am I right or wrong? Now this is the third step, that you look after the scoping activities, a consideration of alternatives, right? Now the next step what you will look upon is description of the project. Description of the project, or you call it as what is the developmental action that you take. Development action, right? Now see here, description of project means this shows you why the project, why it is, the rationale of the project, and the characteristics that include in the project. This will give you the description, right? Now the next step what you will see is description of environment baseline. Description of environment baseline. Now what is this description of environmental baseline, right? Now see here, this step helps you to know the future and present state of environment in the absence of the project, right? Now if the project is erupted, what will be the environment impact? If it is not there, what will be the environment impact? Then you will take the potentially significant differences between them, your adverse and beneficiaries, right? Now see here, it will help you to know the adverse and beneficial things before and after. Done. Now next step is identification of key impacts. Now in what way the surrounding nature, the biodiversity, the biotic factors will impact, you have to know that. Identification of key impacts, right? Now from that, again the next step will be prediction of impacts. Prediction of impacts. Now see here, what is this prediction of impacts? Now see here, already you have identified the impacts to the environment and biodiversity. Now in this prediction of impacts, you will know the magnitude of impact and what's the situation, what's the length of the situation happens after the erection of the project. So you can know how to implement or how to subside this impacts, right? Now next one, after prediction, next one I'll write down here, evaluation and assessment of impacts. Evaluation, or you call it as assessment of impacts, right? After seeing the magnitude and all the things, now you will evaluate the things, whether it is safe to start, right? Now or to move on to the other location. Now this prediction of impacts, I mean in evaluation of impacts, how will you calculate this evaluation of impacts, right? Now see here, to see, this is nothing but finding out relative significance of the impacts. Now significance can be known by this way, right? Significance is equal to consequence into likelihood, means probability of happening. Now this is the evaluation, right? On what probability this impact will be assessed. Now this is very important, focus on this. Now the next one, after this evaluation and impact, the next step is identification of mitigation measures. Very good. Now this is the next step. Now this involves to identify the measures to avoid or the remedy for the impact, right? Identification of mitigation, right? Now see here, now from here description of environmental baseline, and from here to identification of mitigation. Not only the organization evaluates, but also they take public opinion also, or we call it as public consultation or participation. Public consultation and participation will also be taken for both of this, apart from the organizational impact. Now by taking all these things, now you will submit an EIS presentation. The next step will be EIS presentation, environmental impact survey statement. Call both. Now this is the vital step in the process. If done badly, again you have to conduct all the process, right? Now after this EIS presentation, a review of EIS will be taken place. Now see here, it involves a systematic appraisal of quality of EIS done. Now see here, the quality of the EIS must be evaluated here. Now the next one will be decision making in order to move on to the project or to stop the project. Now after decision making, there will be post math effects, now which is nothing but post decision monitoring. Now after starting the project, you have to check the impacts, the magnitude of impacts. Now if you think that is 20% of the biodiversity will be impacted, now after eruption you have to check whether it is 20% or below 20% or above 20%, right? You have to check this post decision monitoring. And the next one, auditing and predictions. Auditing and predictions of mitigation. Mitigation means this environmental impacts. Now see here, this all these last three methods are very vital process in environmental impact assessment, right? Now see here, this steps in environmental impact assessment is very important for your examination. You have to focus on this, right? There will be one question on this for sure.